let some of you guys trickle in and we'll get the show on the road in a few seconds. All right, well, good morning to all. My name is Luis Feliz, and we're just extremely grateful that you are able to be on with us today. And once again, my name is Luis Feliz. I am the Hispanic Community Liaison Coordinator. That's a mouthful, right? For the Better Business Bureau serving Eastern North Carolina. And once again, I want to welcome you all to how to grow your online reviews organically. And what are the steps that you should take on how to get started with your online reviews? And this webinar is hosted by your BBB of Eastern North Carolina. And just some housekeeping rules. As many of you guys know, we're gonna, if you can stay muted, just so our speakers can flow easily and we can all have access to hearing them better during the conversation. If you do wish to ask any questions, you can locate the chat box at the bottom corner and feel free to ask your questions. And why not, let's try it out right now. Why don't you guys just put your first name, the business that you are representing, or the name of your business, and maybe your email. So we can start a little bit of network. Your first name, the name of the business that you're representing or your business, and your email. And we can locate the chat box there. And then we'll also have some time for some Q&A at the end of our conversation. So make sure that if you do have questions, you can write them down and you can ask them at the end to Don or Jeff. And I see that all of you guys are writing in the chat box. I love it. Thank you so much. This is awesome. All right, perfect. So thank you all for writing in the chat box. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to present to you guys today our speakers, Don Hahn and Jeff Wilhelm. And they're both representatives of National Pawn and Jewelry, who are approaching 50,000 online reviews shares, and how they have grown their online presence. And they're going to provide tips to us on how to help other business owners to do the same. And in this webinar, Don, he's a director of training, and Jeff, he's a director of the store operations of National Pawn and Jewelry. So without any further ado, welcome, guys. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and just to bringing insight on the topic.
Thank you for having us. We find this, we're honored and privileged to be able to do this, to share with the group our successes and what their successes could be as well. It's something that comes down to. Just a brief introduction of ourselves. I am Jeff Wilhelm, 33 years in the pawn industry in some form or another. Beside me is Don Hahn, who is now 41 years in. And we are, like everyone says, we in our industry, and there we see there's folks from our industry on this. We are old-time pawnbrokers like everybody else is on this call, but we've had to learn to adapt to an industry and a business model that's different. And that is truly understanding what our golden circle was. And our golden circle is our company understanding our true why of why we are doing anything. When an organization knows what their why is, they can become unstoppable. And that's what our vision has been, is to be unstoppable using the connections between us, our team members, and our employees. Because our vision as a company is to change the perception of our industry, or the pawn industry, one customer at a time. And Google reviews we have found, or a review we have found, has helped us bridge that gap and change that mindset of not only us, but our business model. And that is our vision. That is our vision in everything we do as an organization. And this is just one of them. Who do we really work for, folks, in our industry? Well, we think it is really we work for ourselves, our customers, and our team members. And everything we're trying to do or have done is to give them the ability to navigate today's business model. The industry has changed. What we do is the same, absolutely. But our customer has changed. I always joke our customers are smarter than we are now. They have more information than we do coming into our stores in most scenarios. So we figured about how do we do something to drive more of them into us, which gives us the opportunity to do build up and breakthrough. We are a true believer of a flywheel principle, that is ongoing business spinning over and over and over with repeat customers and repeat business through our levels of disciplined people, disciplined thoughts, and disciplined actions. And that's what we've found doing Google reviews or any review has helped us generate more than what we are currently at today and driving the business. See, here's our belief, and this is the belief of others. There's only 3 ways to operate a business in today's world or forever. Acquire more customers. Get them in our door more often, give us the ability to. While they're there, figure out how to upsell them in some form or another. And then pursue them consistently, operating, offering information. What we have found out is our Google reviews have also set us up to the ability to reach our customers in other ways that we've never had to do before or never needed to do before. And it's given us one more opportunity to reach our customer and pursue them to continue to do business with us. Our true flywheel as an organization is, what can we be deeply passionate about? Change perception of the pawn industry. What can we be the best in the world at? In our industry, be the standard of the Google or reviews and others. And then what is our true economic engine and how do we continue to drive it? All lead to profitability. Our team member behaviors are the ultimate goal. Without them, we don't exist. Don and I don't get to sit here and get to speak in front of you without our teams driving the business. Our vision was these scenarios. How are we going to get us to do this? See, we always have been in the business of selling money, collecting money, and selling merchandise. But what if your customer base starts slowing down for one reason or another, which happened to us and others recently over the last 18 months? We were doing reviews before, but then we had a focus 4 years ago is, why can't we get to 50? That was our vision. Let's get there. And why can't we do it? And finding ways to do it versus, well, it's not. And we chose to go a different route than others because we wanted to tie everything back into our mission, to be the very best that we can every day and have fun while doing it, provide world customer service, and then to have the highest paid and wealthiest team members in our industry. If we do the first 2 in our behaviors, we'll get the third. Our core values is excellence in every role, clean and green, and heroic customer service. Our vision is this is what we want to be. Some days we're better than others. We know that. But one thing we have learned, if we do the things that we need to do, and why is it important to us? And again, all of them are important to us. We will proceed and do things differently than we've ever had. And approaching 50,000 Google reviews has been a very, very large BHAG that we've addressed and embraced and has undertaken because it has only set us up for successes of today and tomorrow. We chose, can you shrink that real quick? My apologies.
You're in my presentation.
I'm in Don's presentation. My apologies. Don said I'm going too fast. So I'm going to turn this over to Don because I went past my time.
So as Jeff brought out, the landscape of business nowadays, we really had to have some advertising out there without trying to get spending thousands of dollars for each store to get advertisement in. So we looked at reviews and we sat down as a leadership team and we said, okay, we know we can't get reviews on everything, on all the scales. So which one is most important? Throughout the whole research, we found out that all of them are important. Whether or not it's really according to the type of business you're in, is whether or not you're going to go with maybe Angie's List, BBB, or Yelp or others. So we knew they were all important, but we realized that we wanted to go with Google, and we did that for a couple of different reasons. One, the largest portion of our customers have cell phones and they have a Gmail account. So that made it pretty easy for us to transition into the Google reviews. Also, we found out that 88% of the people will Google a store before they even walk through a door. Now, we know that online reviews, regardless of what type of online review it is extremely important because people just don't just don't go walking in places unless they read the reviews. They try to figure out what's good, what's bad, things like that. So all reviews are very important. So we're going to just discuss basically how we got to where we are right now. See, there's a lot of companies out there that will help you to get reviews. You know, Bird Eye, Podium, Yext, and the list goes on and on and on. But what we decided is we didn't want to spend money for that. What we wanted to do is we wanted to grow our Google reviews organically. We knew the only way we could do that was change the behaviors of our team members. So doing some research, we found an old Japanese kind of a change for better situation to where the Japanese used it to try to get their industry going after World War II. And so we decided to go with this Kaizen route. Now it has 4 steps. Now there's several different types that you can use, but this one we employed has 4 steps. The first step is, what are the obstacles to getting reviews? The second step was, what are the benefits of getting reviews? The third step was teach, train, and demonstrate on how to get Google reviews or reviews, and then get a commitment. I would briefly talk about each one of these steps. So the first step was, what are the obstacles of getting reviews? So we got people in a room in a smart camp, and we sat down and said, what's the obstacles of doing that? We went out to the field, we talked to people, what are the obstacles? Then we would write them down. We would get comments like, they're just not comfortable asking for a review. A comment like, we don't know how. The third one is, our customers really don't know how to do it either. And then the fourth one is, our customers don't have their phones on them. Now, this benefits us in a couple ways when we break down what the obstacles are. One way is we really get to understand what the field is thinking about the direction that the company wants to go. The second way is when you write these down, you can really see that they're really not obstacles at all. There are more of a small hurdle that you can get over. And you can get over these hurdles using the Kaizen method. Now, the second step of the Kaizen is to see what benefits getting reviews will do. There are 3 main benefits that we will bring out in this presentation, but there are a ton more benefits of getting reviews. The first one is we acquire customer testimonies that will help us to grow our business. Surveys say, like was brought out earlier, that 88% consult a review before they make a purchase. And as 63% of people are more likely to buy from a business that has reviews and good reviews, should say. You know, we know that if we don't actively seek reviews, then the reviews we may get may not be good reviews. You may have looked online at some businesses and they may have 5 reviews and all of them are bad. Well, that's just upset people. You know, so we understand that, but we also know that reviews are very, very important. The second benefit is helps us to understand what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. You know, if we're doing something wrong, then we want to make sure we correct it. We want that business to generate over and over and over again, and we just don't want a one-time benefit from a customer. We want that customer to come back and come back. So it shows that actively replying to a bad review shows the customer that we really value their business, and that a goodly part of the time we can overturn a bad review just by showing that compassion or that willingness to try to make things right if it was a bad review. That is a huge, huge benefit of knowing what we're doing right and knowing what we're doing wrong. In a 23-store chain, we can't be in every store every day, but our customers are, and they can tell us what we're doing right and what we're not. The third benefit is it improves the visibility of our stores. You know, in this instance, we brought up Google. They updated their maps to where they talk about the reviews right on the maps. So we can see this store has 5,250 reviews at 4.9 stars. We know when somebody Googles that, they're going to want to go to that store because they know that the business they're doing is good business. Then step 3 of the Kaizen is to demonstrate how to get a Google review. And this is a big part of it because it's what we did is we did some training videos. We went out and we did some role playing. We got generally to where those obstacles of getting a review was taken away. We did everything we could in order to teach, train, and foster a good environment about getting reviews. So, and then the 4th one is to get a commitment. You know, really, as Jeff brought out, we have to change the behaviors of our staff in order to get the desired results we want. You know, and we're not the best at it, that's for sure. We still manage to a number. We have a goal that each store of ours get 15 reviews a week. Now that's just a goal. We don't beat anybody up if they don't get it. But the only reason we do that is because we know that some stores still do not see the value of reviews. If they don't see the value, then their behaviors aren't going to change. And if their behaviors don't change, then we have to manage to a number to get to the desired results. So that is the Kaizen. That's the way we developed Google reviews. The way we got to almost 50,000, where as of Sunday, we are 2,178 away from 50,000. We are excited about that. We know that through this pandemic, reviews have really benefited us, and they'll benefit anybody who gets online reviews at all. Louis, it's all yours.
Awesome. Perfect. So we have time for questions. Any questions that you guys might have, please feel free to write it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and we can discuss these questions, as in maybe how to get started. You know, why is it so important for customers to leave reviews? So we'll just leave a few minutes open for any questions that you might all have.
Yes, question from Henry and Blanca in South Florida. If the store does reach the 15 Google reviews per week mark, how do you guys celebrate that?
We send out a report. We send out a report every Monday that shows the progress of each and every store. We congratulate them through the email, things like that. But one thing we don't do is we try not to manage with carrots. We don't say if you get 15 then we're going to buy you lunch, or that kind of management really doesn't help in the long run. So what we do is we just say, nice job. That's really what we're supposed to do, is get those 15 reviews. So we've had one store that got 75 in 1 week. Now that is something to celebrate. But as far as hitting the goal, it's a pretty good size attaboy. Great question.
Perfect. And here at the Better Business Bureau also, we believe that reviews are very important. It's what consumers use to promote other businesses and promote their experience as well as things that they have purchased, any products. So we think that it's really important, whether it's a bad review that we can grow from as a business, or whether it's a good review that we can also use to grow as a business. But Mark, to answer your question, this webinar will be made available later. It will be posted on our BBB YouTube channel. So, stay tuned and we'll send out that link or a little bit more information on it. And another question, wow, super impressive. Can you demonstrate some role play to asking for reviews?
Sure, we absolutely do. And we do that. We have monthly webinars that we take our staff through. We have an acronym that we say that's the foundation of our business. We call it LRGP. It's layaways, rewards, Googles, and posting. Now, through that, we do role play, and quite frankly, it's very easy to do a Google review. It's like during the process, once you ask, you really should ask during the transaction, because once they walk out the door, even though they may want to give you a review, that's probably the last thing on their mind. So during the process of doing that, it just goes as simple as, hey, did you enjoy the service I give you today? And they say, yeah. Well, how'd you hear about us? Well, we heard about you on Google. Well, great. Would you do me a favor? And would you give me a Google review as well, so other people can benefit from the review as you did? And basically that's it. You know, everybody has their own personality. Everybody has their own way of asking. But really, the big thing, the big cornerstone of getting Google reviews or any reviews is have your team ask for them. If they ask for them, then the customers, if you provided that world-class customer service, the customers will be more than happy to give you that review. Great question.
Hey, I've got a question, Louis. First, gentleman, nice job. From one Thai guy to another, nice job with your online reputation. And I'm a business broker. I sell other people's businesses, and we definitely look at reviews of businesses, and it adds value when they're good. My question for you is about, are you using any type of software? Because I understand there are some software that will initiate a review, and if it's bad, then they'll handle it internally before to resolve the problem. If it's good, they'll push it right out to Google. And part two of my question is, with multiple locations, how are you managing multiple Google accounts, or is it kind of a rolled up into one account thing?
Okay, I'll answer the first one. You can answer the
Okay,
second. Okay, no, we are not using a service. We chose not to use a service. We chose to organically do it, so it became part of our behavior, which part of it became part of our culture. Our culture is to provide world-class service and change of perception. When we decided to go that route, is we wanted our ability to interact in a relationship with our customers to take us to where we were and into the next transaction, versus a stale version of do this because. I'm not saying it doesn't work. Podium is other companies are very successful. And I have some very good friends who work at Podium who I have conversations with all the time. We chose organically doing it, teaching it, fostering a culture of the successes from it, teach the value of it, then the behaviors of consistency lets the culture happen organically. So then Don will answer the second part.
That was a great answer.
Thanks, Don.
What was the second part again?
Actually,
Come on here. My question was multiple locations. Are you doing a Google site for each location?
Yes, we do. Yes, we have a site for each location. Yeah. That way it's easier for the management of that site to manage their reviews. They can look into it at any time to see where they're at. They can look at it to check their reviews to make sure they're good reviews and address the ones that are not. So yeah, we don't have a total company one. Each store has their own. Great question.
Is it Google My Business?
No, just Google. Yeah. Yeah, just all they do is just go in and put in National Pond, say like we're at Fleetwood Drive at this location, and it'll pop up and it'll allow them to review you. It'll allow them to read the reviews and things like that. So yeah, all you have to do is just put in National Pond and the address.
But Henry, if you do have multiple locations, then you would get the Google My Business app, and then there you would have all your locations listed.
Correct. Yeah, it'll eventually all roll into one. There's a backside of this that we aren't sharing, that we do track as a company, but each store is set on its own identity, because we want the economy of that store. That's their customer base. We can't control that customer base from here. We don't try to. Those store individuals get to control that customer base, interact with them much quicker than I would ever. So but yeah, we can track it from store to roll up company wide.
And it's an easy process to do. You know, on Sundays about 12 o'clock, I'll go through and just start Googling every store. I'll take last week's total and I'll take this week's total and I'll subtract it. And that's the amount of reviews I got for the week. So it's not like, you know, you hit a magic button and it all comes up. It is a little bit of footwork, but That's as simple as it is. Last week's total against this week's total, and that's how many they got through the week.
Perfect. All great questions. Thank you all for pitching in. So another question is, any tips for troubleshooting? Oh, 1 minute. Any tips for troubleshooting when customers can't remember their Gmail password?
Outside of working through Google, no, because we deal with the same issue as that is. It's, you know, what you don't want to do, and this is what has happened, is create a new Google because it's not based on email, it's based on IP address. And if they had another one under the IP, it'll kill the old one and maybe not take away the new one. We learned that the hard way early on. Like other people were doing, some people set a computer up in their own store and they thought they were going to get a lot of Google reviews that way. That's what somebody did. And then Google found out what people were doing and then they kind of changed that method. So we had to adapt as we're learning those things as well.
Hi, my name is Stacy and I'm with Sunbelt Pond here in Houston. I have a question for you guys. We also aim to get a certain amount of reviews per month and per week, but a lot of our stores have encountered an issue of the customer leaving the review, hitting post, the blue confirmation screen appears, and then we actually don't see the review on our end when we go look on it on our computer. Have y'all seen the same issue?
Yeah, quite frankly, that's sort of why we try to ask for the review early in the process during the transaction, because we can kind of help them with their cell phones as well. You know, a lot of people aren't as tech savvy as what we may think. So if you don't hit that submit button, it's just, you know, it just goes away. So, you know, not only do we ask, but if they say, you know, we can help them to do that as well.
So I'm sorry, Stace, one thing else you need to do is each week when you look, or each day, make sure you clear your browser history completely first and then go back in. Because if your browser history was from your last time session, it will normally bring up what you brought up the last time until you clear it out and refresh it. And that came from Google.
Okay, we'll try that. Thank you.
How y'all doing with it? Are you doing good?
We've got one store at 1,000 and another one closing in at 1,000. So I thought we were doing good, but y'all are doing great.
No,
so.
you're doing epic.
No,
if you got 1,000, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is.
That's awesome.
Hey, you know what? There was a time we didn't have 1,000 either.
It's true.
It's just a process, you know, it's just a process. And again, it's changing behaviors of the people in the store and trying to show them the value of getting a review. You know, we always say, you know, not only ask for a review, but ask the customer to put your name in it. Because if I'm in Houston and I'm Googling a store and I see Stacy is amazing, Stacy did this, Stacy did that, she is the best, then who am I going to ask for when I go into the store? You know, obviously that's how we want our people, our staff, to cultivate their own kind of book of business. You know, we want them to get their own customers. So that's helped a great deal to see value, because some customer will come in and say, hey, can I help you? Nope, I want to wait on Stacy. I want to wait on Stacy. So that's the way they see the value of it.
Stacy, another thing that we've been able to do with this, we can project revenue streams based on this, based on what we know our average dollar transaction is in that store, what our new Google reviews potential customers. We can forecast business models of today and the future on where our revenue stream will come from and can come from. So it's giving us the ability also to sit down with each team member. If Don's visiting a store, he'll sit down with somebody that's struggling with Google's and show them the value behind it. And then that will get some more interest into it until they start having successes from it. And then they will organically start doing it. So it gives us the ability, along with other things that we can forecast. If we have X amount of customers coming in new every week, this is what our average dollar transaction is. This is what more revenue we can do week over week over week. So we look at it from the beginning of how it helps our employees, our customers, and our whole business model as a whole.
Now, a quick question to follow up on that one. On your POS system, are you using some sort of tracking where it says customer came in from Google? Or are you just basing that on new customer, new You do have something like that?
No, it's just a new customer. Yeah.
Okay.
We
You're not able
don't,
to.
we ask our people to do an awful lot.
Okay.
And we found out that trying to do something like that is, you know, on a point of sale system where you have like walk by, walk in,
Yeah.
drive by, that normally if you ask folks to do that, everybody's walked by. You know, that's the first box that they check. So, you know, that's just one thing that we don't ask, but we do track new customers, and we say, okay, we have 100 new customers and we got 15 reviews that week. You know, we know that we may have some opportunity there.
So Henry, we can tell exactly per store how many new people are entered into the system for the very first time. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
they didn't do business with us before, but now we can actually start using their information and marketing them from a different angle than we ever did before.
Correct. Thank you for that. And we want to share our big, hairy, audacious goal as well. We're currently at 1455, and we're going to 2,000 by the end of the year with Blanca here in Miami 1.
That's
nice. Awesome.
That is awesome.
Hey, Blanca.
She's just hiding from you, Don.
How are you? It's been a long time. Go get him, Blanca.
Thank you.
This is awesome. I love this crowd. You guys are asking so many great questions. We have another question. What is your experience with the older generation? We get lots of handwritten notes, sometimes have an email or note on their satisfaction survey, paper required by insurance companies and our corporate office. But once we ask for a Google review, we lose them.
All right, so we deal with the same issues. What we found out recently through studying and research is my generation, which did not deal with, again, I'm in my early 50s. We didn't have this cool technology that we have, that millennial mindset has. Well, we love that mindset. Most of us have cell phones, and most of us can or cannot do it. We have taught our people and embraced them to help that customer to bridge that gap. We knew we had that problem. We knew that was going to be a potential issue. We realized we're not going to get everyone to do it, but all we can worry about the ones that are willing to, and we take the time to, which gives us the advantage versus other ones that just says, well, do it when you go home. We want to take the time because we are in a relationship transaction, and we want to take the time to build that relationship for the future, not just the one transaction.
Great. I love it. And that's a great question. Thank you so much for sharing, Nicole. Mark asks, we use Bravo software and it enables us to send a review link to the customer. The customer tells us they will participate in the review, but generally they don't. Any tips? Yeah,
that's as Jeff brought out, it kind of takes the human relationship part out of it when they just get a link. You know, when you ask for that, then it's more of a personal thing. If I'm asking you for a review, you know, I'm going to do it in a way that, not that you feel obligated, but you're going to want to help and you're going to want to give me a review. If I receive a link, then I'm going to say, oh, well, you know, I'll do that sometime, you know, when my brother straightens up or something.
So Don likes to say this best, and I hope I say it best, Don. Our view and vision is we just gave you world-class service. I've earned this Google review, and that's why we asked for it. And that's our mindset as a company. We're not always good at it. We don't always have stores that are doing it right. We don't always have it. It's a consistent manner of the behaviors. What we like to look at is whatever results we get today are based on the behaviors of today. There's no silver bullet. There's no presentation you can go to and it's going to fix your behaviors unless you start recognizing what behaviors you're doing and then start enhancing those behaviors for change. As those behaviors change, you organically, automatically get result change. Then with result change comes consistency. And when consistency comes, sustainable profitability.
I love that. Great response. Great response and great insight. Anyone else has any final questions before we close out this session? I will say ask now or forever hold your peace.
You guys rock.
Well, so do you, sir, as you know.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, Don and Jeff, do you have like any final thoughts, any final tips that you guys can show on us?
Yeah, here's what we will offer you. If you send an email to marketing@nationalpawnshops.com and you want some videos, we will forward you videos that we've already created to help bridge some of these gaps. Again, send an email to marketing.nationalpawnshops.com. We have no problem sharing those videos with you. We'll just send you the videos, and they're not longer 10-second videos on good ways and bad ways that we've used to help our behavioral successes. We're willing to share any of our successes with others because, again, we are where we at based on other people before us.
Yeah, and I'd also like to offer that it's a process. So if you're just beginning, don't get frustrated with it because it is an ongoing process. You know, I asked a team the other day, I said, what do you think is going to happen when we hit 50,000 Google reviews? They said, we're going to start going for 75, right? And I said, absolutely. You know, these reviews are so important to our business today that we just can't take our foot off the gas pedal. We have just got to keep going and going and going.
It is part of the business landscape of today that's not going away. And as business owners, no matter what business you're in, you have to embrace this and adapt to it versus believing I can always do it how we've always done it. Because like I said earlier, the customer of today is smarter than they've ever been in any time in our business world in today's landscape.
I love that so much. Major takeaways. There's value in reviews. You know, it's a process, and just embrace where you're at. You will grow from there. We will guarantee that. But thank you once again, Don and Jeff. Thank you so much for sharing valuable information on the importance of review and having a good online presence. And before we end this session, I just want to remind you guys all to visit bbbevents.org. There's a lot of things that we do for our business community, for our consumer community. So please just stay tuned to all the wonderful things that we're doing here at BBB of Eastern North Carolina. And if no one else has any other questions, thank you all for joining, for taking the time of your day. And we hope that you have a fantastic rest of your week.
It was our pleasure. Thank you for having us.
All right, take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.